Hey Melvin, how you doing? All right, thanks so much for kicking things off here for our word mark assignment. Milestone 3, Task 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at your sketches. I think you've done a good job here, really good experimentation. Now, keep in mind that these are representations of your words from your word list, so there should be, your subjective qualities as well as your objective traits associated with your client, right? So what you would want to do is you would want to just give the word, right? And then and do this for your final submission, task one final submission. Just go ahead and label these so we know what word this is representing. Okay, and again, there's 10 objective words and 10 subjective qualities. So you definitely want to just give a little indication as to what you're representing here. Remember, the idea is that we start to define our client based on words that we assign to the characteristics and traits of the client. For example, and we define those and we break those down to objective qualities and subjective traits. So that we can kind of get this overview of how we can assign visual meaning to our client. So what you want to do is definitely label these to the word that you're depicting from your word list. Now remember, there's no right or wrong at all. I mean, it's if you're seeing a connection or a tie, the idea is that you are making these ties based on the definitive descriptions that you have assigned to your client through those word lists. Okay, so I think your sketches look fantastic. I think there's a couple that would be ruled out immediately, and I would say this is one and this is one, because those are more logos with the word attached, right? We're looking for word marks to represent your client just using the name of the company. All right, so the word, and that's inherent in the definition of word mark, which is inherent in the word itself, word mark, right? So this would be no good, and this would be no good because those are regular logos. The rest, I think, are fantastic. I mean, this one is kind of borderline, but the Minotaur head is kind of incorporated in with the M, so that's cool. I think this is really, really interesting. The horns on top of the M, and I think that's kind of exactly what we're going for, is that kind of look where you've got meaning incorporated right into the type itself. So you're actually embellishing the type to incorporate and to extract some of that meaning that you have assigned through the research stage and the data extraction of your research in that portion of the project. So so some of these I think are a little bit too, like this right here. This, I mean, you have to really kind of step back and take it. This one too, that almost looks like the M from Monster Energy drink. This almost looks like it's really, really jagged, and it's got very pointy edges. And I'm just wondering what you're trying to say in that particular instance. So what trait or quality from your client are you trying to represent here? And that's things that you really need to think about moving forward. Now, a couple of other areas that I would stay away from is right here. This it almost looks like it's two words, Mino and tar, and your viewer might not get that. So if that's going to be your approach, I would definitely recommend it, bringing that baseline down and getting those in alignment so there's no mistake that that's one word. The other one is this one right here. We have the M in the background and then Inotar. So it's okay to have the M in the background, although this would be considered a hybrid logo consisting of a word mark and a monogram. Okay, but this one, I would definitely use the M in front of the I for Minotaur so that your viewer doesn't mistakenly think that the name of the company is Imitar. Do you see what I'm saying? So you really want to think about some of the mistakes that your viewer can possibly make and adjust accordingly. Okay, moving into your task submission, I would go ahead and in your sketches, go ahead and replace this and this. Okay, and then this one you want to resketch, adding the M on the end there, and the M at the beginning of the word Minotaur there. So 1, 2, 3 resketches for your task submission, and then I think at this point, I would go ahead and say I think this is your most effective approach. But that's not to say you have to move in that direction. You know, I'm trying not to direct you guys, and I want you to make your own decisions based on how you feel the communicated value is with the associated examples. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. But those are the recommendations I'd like to see in your milestone task one final submission, in your final submission at the end of the week. Okay, great job. Any questions? Let me know. Thank you.